It's true, yeah. Hey, welcome to the Fireside Tattoo Podcast. We get my beer, the official podcast of the Fireside Tattoo Network. I'm Jake. This is Poch.
How's it going, everybody?
And we're at Evergreen. This is our second episode here at Evergreen. Have you done this show before?
I've done it for 4 years now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You were here last year, too?
I come every year. The show is awesome.
Where are you? I know you travel a lot, but where are you out of full time? Like, where are you from?
Yeah, so now California.
Okay, what
Yeah.
part?
It's like a small town, Yucaipa. It's like an hour from Palm Springs. It's pretty.
Oh, okay.
It's a pretty hippie little chill town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
So you've been here for 4 years. I think they said they've been doing it. So you've been here almost since the beginning. I
Yes.
think they've done, this is their sixth one, I think is what they told me.
Yes.
Yeah. And so is this your first year teaching at the educational?
Yes, it was an honor, man. It was something different, through my growth over the years. I spoke to Josh, like he was the reason why I got into tattooing. Seeing him work, over the years and staring at his work and chopping everything up. And he contacted me last year and was like, hey, Poch, your art is growing, a lot. You're always painting, you're always drawing. I would love to have you for a seminar. Dude, I almost dropped my phone. I was like, oh, God, he wants to do a seminar. It was nerve-wracking, but it was cool, man, because, I draw and I practice a lot, So to be able to have these young artists come in and ask me questions and more like an open whole chat thing, it was amazing.
So that was the format. I wasn't there. I swung through yesterday, but Jesse Smith was doing his. I didn't see you doing yours.
Yes,
so yours was more of just an open
It's
format?
more like an open forum. I don't want to sit up there and preach like a car salesman. These are the machines I use, the inks I use to go out and buy it. It's crap of shit, What I do is I sit down with everybody and really I go through certain things, and as soon as I go through something, on my thing, everybody's quick to be like, oh, well, Poch, I had that same problem, boom, because it's easy for us to go up there and be like, hey, this machine is awesome, buy it, try it, because I'm sponsored with them, And then you got artists that'll try it, and the artists didn't really have a sit down with them and be like, hey, this is what I use it for. This is how I use it. I use it this way because of this, There's other machines you can try out, but this is what, boom, boom. And so many artists, like I've never had a show like this where so many artists was like, oh, my God. So, hey, Poch, how about this? And I'm like, damn, you guys are really interacting. This is awesome. So it was a good seminar. It was an amazing seminar.
Was it your first seminar?
No, this was like my 20-something seminar.
Okay.
But this one was my best one.
Really?
Yes.
And you've always had that approach. You don't come up with a script and lay anything out. You always have just an open flow kind of.
I mean, honestly, I have like a full screen, set up of what I touch, my basis on.
Right.
But what's crazy is, I'm a realist. Right. I don't sugarcoat nothing. If things don't work, it doesn't work. If it does work, it does work. And I pinpoint it out. I don't care if FK Irons is in the scene. I don't care if Injector's in the scene. At the end of the day, these artists want to know the truth. So I'm not going to sit up here and pitch no shit to them. That's not going to work, And because I do that, dude, it's crazy off the rapport I get from people. Like, everybody just be like, hey, Poch, I got a question. So with all the questions going on, I don't even have time to stay at my projector. It's like so many artists is like, okay, well, he touched base on that, so how about this? And I'm like, so in my head, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do an open forum. I'm going to sit down. I'm not going to tattoo. I'm just let everybody just talk, and we'll all just feed off of each other, and it works.
Yeah. I would imagine so. And like you're saying, you come up, you spend the hours, countless hours it takes to put something like that together, and then you find the conversation becoming like really organic and going in different areas, and you're like, shit, I just wasted 10 hours putting this thing together because we're not even talking about that.
It's crazy, man, because that happens all the time, and, so many artists come up and be like, well, Poch, you have it up on the screen, but, every question I want to, and it's nuts, too, because our artist will ask a question, right? And I'll answer his question. But then what's crazy is another artist will hear on that and touch on that. So when I go through my slideshow, we already 8 pages before that. So I'm like, okay, we'll skip this slideshow. Let's go to the next one. So it's cool. I love when that happens. I love when that happens,
Yeah. So talk a little bit about your process. I was just flipping through your Instagram, and you draw a lot in just traditional media. You're not doing a lot of digital stuff, a lot of colored pencils, a lot of...
If I hurt anybody's feelings, I apologize. Me, I think the Photoshop and the whole technology thing is great as a tool. It's a tool, you know what I'm saying? It's pretty much to allow us to be able to have our work to the next level, you know what I'm saying? But I use it only as a tool, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I'm an artist, I don't draw with numbers. I don't draw on a computer. I don't need this tool to make this because as an artist, when I'm tattooing it, it's more hands-on. There's no computer there helping me create that blend. You know what I'm saying? So I'm more hands-on my color pencil drawings. You know what I'm saying? Like, I draw constantly. I have Photoshop. as a tool to help me out in blending things together. And normal off the image what I have in my head, it's easy for me to go in art station. Like, I hate Google, you know what I'm saying? So I go into art stations, or I get a movie and I'll take 2 images, and, you know, I have Photoshop to help me understand exactly what I'm doing. And then as an artist, I just take that, print it out, and I draw it and go my own way. Yeah.
So what do you, I mean, obviously realism, and you do a lot of, like, I've noticed looking through, you'll do a study of a photograph that is literally photographic.
Yes.
And then you'll bring that to some more kind of illustrative realism in your tattooing. So
Yes.
you're building a good kind of knowledge bank, but then you're kind of creating, you have your own voice when it comes to doing the more illustrative stuff that's not just a straight up reproduction.
Yes, because what most artists need to understand is skin and paper is 2 different things. You know what I'm saying? The stuff I draw on paper is hyper-realism. It's exactly what I see. With skin, you already having a medium where it's rounded. It's not flat anymore. It's not white. You know, skin is going to tell you it's going to bleed back out at you. You know what I'm saying? Compared to paper, where you can go over it 1,200 times and that's it, you know, compared to a tattoo. So all my pieces for my tattoo related, I try to keep it as realistic as possible, but I also do things where it can hold over the years. Things have to change. I need to add a line on that. You know what I'm saying? I can't do these 2 light 10s. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things change. So I make things where it's going to work, you know?
Yeah. Talk just a little bit about your, her level's good over there. Talk just a little bit about your colored pencil process, because they are, what tools are you using? Because they're so buttery smooth. There's
It's just
no
Prismacolor pencils.
Prismacolor pencils.
That's
On
it.
what type of board?
Standard paper.
Oh, really?
Copy paper from off a copy machine.
It's
It blows people's minds when I say that, and they like, Poch, what the fuck? It's crazy. It's because I tattoo for a living. So I do a lot of stenciling. I do a lot of prep work and stuff like that. So when I'm drawing, if you notice, all my artwork is pretty much, I call them art studies.
Yeah.
Because everything I do, you know, as far as my drawing is a study. You know, I never draw nothing easy. I only draw things that I have a problem with. So it helps me understand it as I'm tattooing it, and helps me understand, you know, the color breakdown and stuff like that. So when I'm drawing, that's all freehand. There's nothing stenciled. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it helps me understand exactly all what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I call them color studies.
Yeah. So obviously color realism has become giant, and a lot of people want to get into it, and I'm sure you have a ton of people don't.
I tell people don't.
Don't. What do you find are the most common early mistakes of people trying to get into realism from a tattooing standpoint?
Trying to get into realism.
Yeah.
Because there's, how many styles of honesty is there in tattooing? There's new school, there's traditional, there's tribal, there's Asian, there's so many different styles. It's crazy how many styles it is. But artists want to get into realism, or because how they think it's going to get them their name, or it's going to be the new popular thing. Instead, Timmy B, like, I started with Timmy. Him and me started together. Like, I was around when he did his transition from realism into his new school, you know, and he's killing it right now.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's Mike Chambers, retarded, you know, and the stuff that he's doing. Dave Paulo, crazy. You know what I'm saying? So there's different styles of what you can do that you don't have to do realism. Like me, I'm a realism artist. I draw it. I live it. That's what I see. That's what I love. If you don't understand it, if you can't draw it, don't do it. Tattooing, there's so many different styles. There's anime styles. I love anime.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many styles that you don't have to get into that realm. Like, I say this all the time. You got a drummer, right? You got a dude that plays bass. You got a singer. So the singer's going to sit up here and play drums. You know what I'm saying? He knows his position. You know what I'm saying? That's the same thing with tattooing. You don't have to do everything. Like, Ink Masters, like, you don't have to, this is not Ink Masters, you don't have to do everything. Like, if you specialize in one thing, that's what you're comfortable in doing it, stick with that. Stay with that and be the best at it. Like, you don't have to get into realism. It's crazy. I have a big pet peeve with that. Yo. Big pet peeve with that.
All right, well, let's say someone is fairly accomplished in realism from a drawing standpoint. Maybe they come from a drawing background and that's what they do is realism. And they're trying to transition into tattooing, and because that is a natural extension of them, they want to do it.
Yeah.
What do you find is the most common weakness, or the biggest hurdles that, you know, tattooing is limiting? You know, we fight an uphill battle. We have a lot of challenges no other medium in visual arts face. So what do you find when people are first getting into realism, even if they know how to do it on paper? Where do they struggle the most going into tattooing?
See, but here's my thing. If you can do it on paper, then you won't have a struggle tattooing.
You don't think you'll struggle at all coming across?
Because I'm a firm believer, if you can draw it, then you can tattoo it. So if you understanding all what you're doing on paper, you can have that same approach more on the skin. The problem with most people is patience.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to know that these realism pieces is going to take a while. You can't get a machine that's going to run super hard and think you're going to pack it in. You got to have patience. You got to slow down. You got to have a machine turned down. You know, just build it up. It's not a race.
Yeah.
You know, that's mainly it.
Yeah. You were talking a minute ago. Tomorrow you have you're starting a piece that you're working on for 2 consecutive days. I'm assuming, I haven't watched your process, but most realism artists work kind of like a copy machine. They don't line, they don't gray line everything. They work. What's your process for? Are you stenciling the whole piece and trying to keep it overnight? How are you working from day 1 to day 2 to keep from irritating the skin from your day 1 work?
It's everything I do overall. Like, I tattoo super light. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to blow your mind right now. Like, all my pieces, of the highest I go on my machine is a 4.3.
Oh, really?
You know, the stroke I use on all my machines is a 1.4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I tattoo super shallow, super light-handed, you know, and I start from the bottom and I work my way up. So I place the whole stencil on, and then I'll keep going to when I get tired, to where it's a cutoff point. And then I cut it off, and then I'll stop and clean the whole entire arm, and then tomorrow I'll re-stencil that straight back in that line, and I start back up again. So I never have redness or swelling or bleeding or stuff like that.
Talk for a second. So I'm a painter, not a realist painter, but I'm an oil painter, and I try to paint. I try to paint figuratively. And for me, I have to block everything in, and I don't know what a highlight on a chin is going to look like until I see the whole. I use relationships. So when you're
I'm the same way.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same way.
So when you're finishing something from here to here, how do you know what this is if you haven't addressed this yet?
Exactly. So what I do is I'll start from here, and I build my way up enough to where, you know, honestly, I'll leave that highlight a little bit, and then I keep going, and then I come back down.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, as you said earlier, I'm the same way like you. You can't really add this shade blend up here if you don't know what you're doing up here. You know, so I allow myself to break everything down to where, you know, I do my skin tones, and I do the flesh tones, and I do whatever. I do my undercut shadows, and I do my pores and everything. And then I come back down and add that slate blue, and then cut my... You know what I'm saying? So I do the same exact thing. You know what I'm saying? So I just boom, 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 come back down, and then I go back up again. And because I run so soft and so light, it's no problem going back over certain areas over and over and over again.
Okay, that makes sense. So you are breaking it down. I mean, even if you're working from color from the start, so you're not doing a value study at all. No. So, but you are breaking it down. Like on your first pass going up, you're working mostly in your darker values.
Yes.
And then as you come back, maybe your midtones to light
Exactly.
tones.
You got it. You got it. The same exact way, same approach.
Okay. All right. Do you, from your color palette, are you a guy that has 15 peaches sitting out, or do you mix from a limited palette?
What's crazy when I first started, because Nico did it. You know, I was like, I'm going to be like Nico. I've been laid out 5,000 colors, you know. But over a period of time, you know, you speak to Nico, you speak to Carlos, and you speak to everybody, Steve Butchers and all that. You kind of figure out, you know, having your palette kind of change. You know what I'm saying? Change it up. So for a while, I did a color wheel. You know, and that's why I set up my end caps all like a color wheel. And it allowed me to play with the complementary colors, you know, stuff like that. Now the way I work is a gamut mask. You know what I'm saying? So I choose the value in the color wheel, and that's where I stay at. You know, so my primary colors change a lot. So, you know, half of the time I use like 18 peaches. I lose 18 reds and stuff like that. So it jumps around on the piece.
Okay. So you don't have a set color palette that you use all the time.
Never. No. Yeah. It jumps around on different things on different people.
Yeah. From a tattoo standpoint, working in a realistic style, and like you just mentioned, a handful of really great realism artists. How do you set your work? Not necessarily set your work apart. What do you do to give your own kind of thumbprint, your own mark to your work whenever you're trying to reproduce something that you're looking at in a photograph? You know what I mean? Like in new school, it's easy. Timmy B has some very specific things that he does that sets him apart.
Yeah.
So in realism, is that more of a challenge?
It is, because you know, as I said before earlier, you got the Nico Hurtados, you got the Arlos, you got so many great artists in the industry that set the bar high. I'm doing an apprenticeship over with Steve Butcher right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been tattooing for 18 years, almost 20 years, and I'm redoing an apprenticeship off an artist that's been doing it for 5 years. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not trying to create my own style. I'm just trying to create, if I see something, I'm doing the best I can at it.
Yeah.
And just every artist have their own little niche on what they can see. You know, so what ends up happening is it's a style. It's like, oh, that's Poch, that's Steve Butchers. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to defeat that, because I want people to stay at my work and be like,
Yeah.
Who did that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just you as an artist just growing and growing and growing. And as you grow, your vision kind of change. Because there's certain things that Steve see that I'll sit back and argue with him like, there's no green in that. You know, and then I'll look at it and I'll have purple in it. And he'll be like, dude, there's no purple in that. So what ends up happening is you kind of create your own style for the things that you see, you know?
Yeah, yeah. That's an interesting, I hadn't thought of it like that. I bet that's absolutely right, especially when you're talking about subtle undertones, shadow shapes. You know, you see purple, he sees green, and that's probably where that natural kind of style develops. You can't
Almost
help
like
it.
Nico, prime example. Like his early stuff to what his stuff is now. His early stuff, he wasn't painting as much. You look at his stuff now, it got a painter's approach. It has the grays, it has the siennas in it now. Like the flesh tones have that green hue because when you oil paint, you got the ochre or the red, and you can make your own flesh tone. So for Nico now, take that approach. He don't put flesh tones down anymore. He uses red, a little bit of ochre, and now he makes his own as he works. And you can see it in his studies and stuff. So every artist just have their different creative niche.
Yeah, yeah.
As he learns some stuff, you know?
Right, yeah. So you said you were re-apprenticing at 18 years.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? What are you doing?
It's not me like I'm not wearing a thong on. I'm not going out the street doing nothing. It's pretty much I went to him as like a brother. You know, I'm like, you know, honestly, my work got stagnant. You know, and I didn't like that. You know, so I was like, you know, bro, is there any way you can help me out? And he laughed at me. Like, he was like, yo, bro, you've been doing this longer than me. Like, I'm like, but you understand, as an artist, I'm real. You know what I'm saying? And I can pinpoint, you know, in my work I have flaws. You know, and Steve Butcher's in focus, out of focus, depth of field is retarded.
It is.
So if I add that concept into my work, it'll help me out. So I wasn't trying to like steal his style. It's just me going to another artist being like, hey, I'm having problems. Can you help me? And he was just like, yeah, bro, I got you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And getting with him for 8 months has been crazy. Like, it's been night and day. Like, my artwork is not the same anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, give me an example of what it looks like. So he's obviously, you guys aren't on the same continent for the most part, are you? Is he still? He's in Australia.
He's still in New Zealand. He just got his work visa. He'll be home Monday. I'm picking him up from the airport.
Oh, okay,
so I leave here and I go pick him up.
You are working alongside of him. It's not a remote thing.
All the time. Like, we speak every other day. You know, we constantly have a chat. He FaceTimes me. You know, honestly, our bond is ridiculous, you know. But when we go into conventions, you know, he'll tattoo, I'll be next to him, you know, and people will laugh because he'll finish tattooing and I'm still working. I'll stop what I'm doing, take off my gloves, and I'll break him down.
Oh,
and people will be like, what the hell? He's my mentor, you know what I'm saying? So out of respect, you know what I'm saying, I break him down. And most artists will be like, oh, my God, you know, it's just out of respect, you know? Yeah. So, like, he's teaching me a lot. I'm doing an understudy under O'Karen, you know, soon. Okay. I'll be hitting Russia. I spoke to Smith. You know, I want to start getting into the whole cartoon new school thing, just to understand that in a different approach. You know, in anime pieces I want to be doing. So he said, yeah, I could fly out to his shop for a couple of months to learn from him. So I'm doing like a whole understudy the next 10 years, just go under these great guys and pick out different things, you know?
That's an awesome idea.
Yeah.
Awesome idea.
I think every artist should do it.
And it takes a lot of, not display. There's a lot of ego typically in someone that has been tattooing for 18 years, especially going to a 5-year tattooer.
Yes.
There's a lot of ego there that could get in the way, and the fact that you identify that there are some weaknesses, or not necessarily even weaknesses in your work, some areas that you just don't have enough expertise.
Exactly.
And you've luckily you're in the position that you can reach out to these kinds of guys. There are tons of people that would love to be, they would love Jesse or
But what's
Steve
crazy, it's not hard.
Yeah.
It's not hard. Like I tell most artists, like, yo, how did you get apprentice with Steve Butcher? I'm like, it's easy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit up here and be like, hey, man, you know, the way I approached him. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you had this podcast, right, and I want to come and do the same thing, I wouldn't come to you and be like, you know, hey, man, how you do a podcast? I would come to you and be like, hey, look, man, I'm a photographer and I also do these videos and stuff. How would I be able to understand things a little bit better? So the way I approach you now, you're going to be like, wow, okay, well, you do know a little bit and you are intrigued about it. Let me teach you a few things. Let me have a conversation and fill you out. Then once you have that conversation and you fill you out, then it'll be like, hey, man, you know what? I have a couple of podcasts. You should come in and host them with me and whatever. And that becomes a friendship. So artists need to do that. You can't come to your favorite artist and be like, hey, can you teach me? You know, you got to come to your favorite artist and be like, you know, hey, I'm having problems with this, man. If you don't mind, I'm asking your expertise on this. As an artist, I'm going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, well, let's sit down and talk and chop it up. And that's how you create.
Yeah,
it's a moment.
We get a lot of questions from people who are either trying to break into the industry, a lot of small-town tattooers that are in really dead-end apprenticeships that are trying to find a better option. And the most common question is like, how do I get into a better shop? And I've always felt like, well, if there's an artist you really look up to in your town or the next town over, go get tattooed. Sit down with them. When you're paying for the time, you're sitting next to them. That's the perfect opportunity to develop some trust. Ask a few educated questions. Don't be all in their face. And I think that's
you can't ask stupid questions. Like I tell every artist this that want to come up, and guys, listen, it can happen overnight. You have to treat yourself at the highest regard. You know what I'm saying? So where at, you got to sit up here and put yourself where at. Small example. I'm a tattoo artist. Only thing on my page is tattooing. There's no weed. There's no partying. I'm a dish out what people they want to, have in return. You know what I'm saying? So if you're putting out halfway work, that's what you're going to get back. You know what I'm saying? You putting up sneakers and Jordans and you smoking weed and you partying, that's what you're going to dish out. You know what I'm saying? How much time and how much effort are you putting into your craft? Because nobody's not going to sit up here and take you seriously, only yourself. You know what I'm saying? So who are you to sit up here and say, I want to get a name, I deserve a trophy, I deserve this? Who are you? You know what I'm saying? How much time are you putting in? How much time are you sacrificing? Like, I'll give it to you right now. Steve Butcher and O'Karen paints after every tattoo. I don't know what artist does that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you spend 18 hours on a piece, and then you go to your house, and then you break it down for an hour and a half, and then you go study for 2 hours, and then you go draw. Straight after that. No artist is doing that. But these guys are great at all what they're doing because they putting in that time. They putting in that work. You know what I'm saying? I'm a fantastic artist. But trust me, it didn't happen overnight. I still grind. I still give away free tattoos. I'm not booked up all the time. Like, I still have openings. Like, things like that still happen to us. Like, we get cancellations. Like, as I say a price, a client will be like, oh, he's $2,500 for the day. Oh, no. I still get that. You know what I'm saying? But most artists won't talk about it. I will. You know what I'm saying? There's times I can't pay rent. There's times I don't have money to feed. There's times I can't fly out. Things like that happen. You know what I'm saying? But it don't break me down. I still strive and struggle, so maybe in a year I won't have those problems anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I just think artists just need to stop sitting up here thinking that all us artists that has names all don't have problems. We do. Like, you can look at my bank account, I'm broke. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's real, man. Like, it's real, you know?
You're talking about the work that your page is all tattooing, putting in the work after. I was noticing walking by your booth that it stands apart from most of the other booths here. You've got, and maybe we can get a walkthrough just to drop in over this. It does come down to every aspect of your career and your life, trying to paint a picture of what you, the way you want people to perceive you.
It's definitely hard for me because, let's be realistic, how many black tattoo artists you see in the industry? You don't see that many.
Not that many.
So we automatically have that stereotype up front. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he's a brother. He learned this in jail, or he's gonna shoot me and stab me. You know. So it's like everything I do have to be over the top because I don't want people to come to my booth and judge me from that. I mean, this is a trade show. You know what I'm saying? So what you're doing is, here's 10,000 artists. I want that client that's coming on the show. How can I get that client? How come that client should spend $2,000 with you and not the $2,000 next door? You got to stand out, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I got to go judge tattoos, don't I? Man, well, that was great. That's a ton of great information. I want to ask one more question. The lights that you and Jesse have above your, where do you get those lights? Those
Amazon.
Really?
$20.
No kidding.
$20. They look expensive. They're $20.
No kidding. Those things, I mean, talk about setting yourself apart like that, just that alone, even if you didn't have the rest of the setup.
$20 Amazon.
No kidding.
I'm frugal in the motherfucker. That's awesome. $20.
And they're not battery. I can't see, but I guess they're cords running down. They plug in.
Straight in the back. They hide in the back, and you can angle them and change them up, and it just make your work. It just makes your booth just comes to life. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything I do got to be high class and elegant. Even though it's cheap, guys, it's still high class.
Still high class. So I know you travel a lot. Where are you off to from here?
Whoa. Okay, from here I go to Texas. Have a show in New York. I have a show in Costa Rica. After that, I have Bolivia.
Oh, wow.
I'm all over the place. Yeah. Like, I'm show every weekend.
What's the best way for people to keep up?
Email.
Okay. What is? Or they can just go to, was it PoochTattoos.com and just click the email link?
Click the email link, and I'm always on the Instagram. I do all my lives. I do all my posts for what I'm doing. I got my guy over there right now. He just filmed us doing his thing, so I'm going to post that up. Awesome. You know, so I'm constantly trying to stay on top of that. You know, so it's easy to find me. It's not hard.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, we'll post all that stuff in the show notes as well so people can keep up with you. Dude, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
I love your work.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys for supporting what we do. We'll see you next time.
Awesome.